Welcome to the BAM Sports Show.
I carefully place all of it in various trash cans around.
Any other headlines you guys are interested in tomorrow?
I'll poop in a urinal.
It's going to be a wet one.
He shoots, he scores, you suck.
Rick's wife is going to make him sleep in the bathroom tub tonight.
A dark horse candidate of where I may eventually want to end up living for good.
Welcome to a brand new sports show experience coming through your wavelengths. Let's get ready to have some fun. So sit back, crack open a drink, and let's talk some sports.
Heyo, welcome to the BAM Sports Show.
Yep.
Going a little bit different tonight. I am Rick. This is my buddy Ryan right here. BAM is out this evening, so I'm trying my hand at hosting the show, and we're just going to enjoy this wild ride together. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Living. Loving.
Good deal.
What about
It's been
you?
a while. I know we took the weekend off last weekend for Thanksgiving and whatnot. I don't think we've had a show since before then. So,
No.
how was your
No.
Thanksgiving?
It sucked. It sucked. My Thanksgiving was awful, actually. Had COVID.
Why did it suck?
Had COVID.
Oh, that's right.
I couldn't
Man.
do anything. We didn't get
That
like
does
Thanksgiving is like my favorite holiday just because I really like family and
Yeah.
eating. You know?
Yum,
And
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
it sucked. We
That
just
does
laid
suck.
around at home.
Wow.
I felt like crap.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Ours wasn't too bad. It was pretty low key. We ended up it was just my wife and I, so
I was pretty jealous of that bird that you cooked though.
I'll tell you what, I was pretty impressed. That was only the second time that I'd ever cooked a turkey.
It looked
So
good. Looked
it
good.
came out phenomenal. Tried my hand at wet brining, and I'll tell you what, fried turkey is still my favorite by far and away.
Yeah.
However, moving forward, if I ever have to bake a turkey again, brining is the way I'm going to go. 1000%.
Dude, it's crazy how much better it is when you just spend the extra day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you
literally.
brine it for a day beforehand, just prepare it before you cook it like a couple of days ahead of time. My
Yeah.
buddy made these he smoked these like beer can chickens, brined it, all that, and it was like the chicken like literally just dissolved in your mouth.
Wow.
It's the best chicken I've ever had in my life. I think about it
That
all the
sounds
time,
excellent.
actually. Me and thinking about cock.
Ryan thinking about cock. Yep.
just-
What else is new?
What else is new?
Now, there was some good football on Thanksgiving, though. The Lions,
was.
in true Thanksgiving tradition fashion, were projected to win pretty handily against the Green Bay Packers. Ended up losing that game
He's
pretty
the only one
convincingly.
that picked that one, too.
He is. He was the only one that picked it. Then, of course, we had the Dallas Cowboys going up against Washington and boat race them,
Yep.
which was unsurprising.
You talking about
But-
the Thursday night game?
No, not the Thursday night game, the Thanksgiving game.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
Well, yeah. I guess, yeah, in that regard, yes, Thursday. Well, it'd have been
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon.
Thursday.
but-
It was a Thursday game, though.
It was a Thursday game. And now here we are. I'll tell you what, I know we had Thursday night football last night. Of course, Danny and I are obviously not incredibly pleased with the result, but
It was a good game.
I've got to. It was a phenomenal game, in my
So
opinion.
much fun.
Probably the single best Thursday night football game we've had all season, in my opinion.
Hands down. That was primetime football.
That was primetime football. But man, what a disappointment. What an absolute heartbreaker for us. For Cowboys fans, obviously, great, But for us, the weird thing for me, and I talked about this in a few different chats, the weird thing for me about that game was more often than not, it's been our defense that's been keeping us in games. Right. And last night, and our offense, I think I'd heard we had went 7 straight quarters without an offensive touchdown going into that game. And I think the second play of the first drive for our offense, Gino just throws an absolutely beautiful 73-yard bomb to DK Metcalf for a touchdown. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, we got a game,
Yeah.
buddy.
And Gino played phenomenal. He had the one pick to, trying to throw the ball to Tyler Lockett. Deron Bland gets another interception.
Dude,
But-
Deron Bland, though, like, real talk, looked like shit for the first half of that game.
He looked like shit. He had that one pick, but even after that, DK Metcalf had just been absolutely roasting that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Absolutely roasting him.
JSN made that fucking catch in the end zone. I don't care what they. I know they scored anyways and all that, but he made that catch.
Yeah,
But he roasted him.
Yeah. No, it was shockingly not our defense not our offense that cost us the game, but rather our defense. Our defense played like shit. There were so many absolutely frustrating missed open field tackles, that just and Jamal Adams, man, I love the guy, love his personality. He's
Dude, I'm
hilarious,
over him.
but at this point, I think he's a better hype man than he is an actual player. And really,
But-
I don't even want to call him a safety. To me, he is an overglorified mid-tier linebacker.
He's fallen so far off that I've actually one of my dynasty leagues the one that I run is an IDP league.
Yeah.
And so we've got the defensive players, and so I've had him for like 3 years now, 4 years maybe. And I've had people offer me, a couple of years ago, I offered a second-round pick, which for a defensive player is crazy. I held on to him. I just released him a couple of weeks ago, just because there's better guys out there right now.
And
Has it been injuries or whatever? I don't know what it is, but he's not the same guy.
No, and I mean that's where I guess I will leave the door slightly cracked open, and maybe give him a little bit of leeway. Is that before this season he hadn't played in, it seems like, 2 years.
That's true.
So, and he's not. I don't think he's old, but he's not the youngest player out there for sure. So I don't know, but he even before he got hurt, I remember he was never very good in pass coverage. He was more of a run support guy.
Yeah, he's
now
more
he's
of
a
a
little
strong safety.
Right.
He's the guy that's coming up, cheating up, and going for the sack, and
Right. But boy, there was a touchdown that they threw on him. I mean, he looked like it was the most embarrassing play. Like he's just like nowhere near the ball, but trying to swat at it, and he's like a solid 3 or 4 feet away from I forget who it was that caught the touchdown on him, but it looked really bad. And I know one of my buddies had mentioned in our other fantasy league chat. He said that he believes that Jamal Adams is gone, after this year. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure that I agree with that. Not because I would, pound the table to keep him, but rather Pete Carroll, in my opinion, is I love Pete Carroll to death. In some ways, he reminds me of my all-time favorite coach, Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
In that he's
old and
well, yeah, that too. But also he kind of has the way he is with his players, almost a dad vibe around him. He treats the players like they're his own kids, but
he's
or his own
100%
family.
out, by the way, next year.
Who's that?
Jamal Adams.
Well, and that's kind of my counterpoint that I would assume he is, but I could see Pete Carroll bringing him back just because, like I said, Pete's an emotional guy. He has his players that he loves, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Pete, make the argument, oh, well, this is his first, full year back from injury. Let's give him another chance,
Yeah, but so the contract situation with him. He'll be 29 next year, which is not that old, especially for a defensive back. But his cap hit in 2021 was only 5 million because he was injury designation. Only
Right.
9.1 and 22. This year, it's his cap hit is 11.4, 11.5 basically. His
Wow.
cap hit next year is 26.9 million.
Wow.
And his cap hit the year after is 27.9.
Oh yeah. No, he's gone.
And so they'll have 20 million in dead cap, but they're still saving 6 million with cutting him.
Yeah. No, he's gone.
So I don't think that they have restructured him, so that could. No, they did in 2023. Converted 9.92 million of 2023 base salary into signing bonus, clearing 6.6 million of cap with Seattle. So
Yeah. I don't know, but it was just it's getting more and more frustrated. I mean, I like that, he's got great energy about him and he's solid and he's rock solid in run support, but
yeah, oh yeah,
to me, he's an overglorified linebacker. And who's terrible in coverage. Absolutely terrible in
yeah.
coverage.
He's definitely a liability out there.
Yeah.
I want to look.
I'll tell you what made last night even worse for me was there's a league that I'm in that I am basically tied for second place. I'm technically in third because the other lady has I think 6 more points on the season than me.
Right.
But I benched both Geno Smith and Zach Charbonnet. And in that league, they award bonus points for if you hit a 50-yard bomb, 60-yard bomb,
Yeah,
stuff like that,
I've got that
along
in one
with,
of mine.
if your player, hits 100 rushing yards or 300 passing yards. And so Geno on my bench had 41 fantasy points last night.
Damn.
And the guy that I'm playing is
Rough.
a super big Cowboys fan.
So he started
And
Dak.
no,
Oh,
but he
it would have
got
been
to
nice
see
to
Geno.
get
He
those
got to see
points.
Geno score all those points on my bench, and he got to see Geno lose against his team.
Double
So
win for him. I'm looking
rough
ahead
out in
at
these streets.
I'm looking ahead at the Seahawks 2024 salary cap, and right now, as it stands, they're only going to have about 2.2 million in space.
Wow.
And so,
Holy shit.
yeah, I'm looking, and Geno's a $31 million cap hit, dead cap of only 17, so he might be out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're saving
We might be
a
off of
lot
Geno.
of money there. Jamal, like I said, 26.9. His dead cap is 20. Tyler Lockett, 26. 26.7. So 10% of the cap. You've got, what, 33, 34% of the cap right there just in those three players.
Jesus.
And then you've got DK, who's 24. So there's some moves. Quandre Diggs, his cap hit is 21 million. Dead cap is 10. So you're going to see quite a few of those guys hitting the bricks.
Yeah. I could see us trying to trade Tyler Lockett in the offseason just
I
based
just
on,
don't
but
know if you're going to get anything for him, to be honest. Especially with this draft class coming out.
yeah.
It's like one of the best, if not like the best in modern history, like wide receiver class.
Yeah. But I mean, he's still good. It's not like he's, falling off the cliff and he's trash now.
No, he's 31. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you start getting up there.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And it sucks. I mean, because Geno was the perfect Cinderella story last year. But it is what it is. I mean,
You're 6-6. You're still second place in that division. Like,
right.
you know,
Just got to root like hell against the Rams. I don't know who the Rams play tomorrow, but because if the Rams win, I think they'll be 6-6 tomorrow.
the Rams play the Joe Flacco led. This just in, the Joe Flacco led Cleveland Browns.
Seattle might be third place in the NFC West
Yeah.
tomorrow.
It's gonna be hard to get anything going like on the ground against that, that defense. Because okay, Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco. He's a known quantity. We know
Yeah.
what you get there. But that team is that good because of their defense and because of Myles Garrett.
Joe Flacco is like
Honestly, I do not understand why the fuck they signed and why he's starting Joe Flacco when there are so many better players out there.
right. Although he didn't play terrible for the Jets last year.
I mean, he did, but he didn't, but he did, but he.
Yeah.
He's washed. But
To me,
if you're only
he
if you're
is
only
like-
getting one game out of him, it doesn't
Right. Then I suppose things could be worse, As long as he can do enough. I mean, that defense, they're good enough to keep. I mean, literally, shit, they beat San Francisco with PJ Walker.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
That is true.
So as long as and I'm sure he's still got enough of a football IQ, so as long as he can do enough, they're not asking him to go out and get into a shootout with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. So he was
But-
57.6% completion, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions last year.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, he feels like a modern day, perhaps slightly less shitty Josh McCown. Kind
Yeah,
of that
that's
old
pretty much
doddering
where he's at.
quarterback that just bounces from team to team. I think last year, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, that Josh McCown was technically on the Texans roster as like an emergency quarterback. Like,
yeah, something like that. They had him
It
signed
was
to
a
like
weird
a futures
situation.
contract or some shit, like some weird reserve thing.
right.
He's a coach now, isn't he?
Is it really?
I think.
I know he had before they ended up going with D'Amico Ryans, and I want to say even before they went with whoever they got before Lovie Smith. I forget that guy's name.
Oh, I don't remember.
The guy that was like the wide receivers coach for the Baltimore Ravens, that was the Texans head coach for like a year.
It wasn't Caserio was the guy that was the GM, right? Nick Caserio. He's the guy that he was like the chaplain or something.
No, yeah, you're thinking of Jack Easterby.
Oh, that's who that was. Okay.
But I want to say kind of before they moved either before they signed that guy that was the Ravens wide receiver coach.
Caserio's the
Or
GM
before-
of the Texans now, by the way. Sorry.
Yes, he is. It was either before they signed that guy that was the Ravens wide receiver coach or before they signed Lovie Smith. Somewhere in that transitional period, they were considering hiring Josh McCown as the Texans head coach.
Why not?
Why not?
He's 44.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like
How old's
he
Joe
was
Flacco?
38.
Really?
Yeah,
He feels so much older than that.
he is January 16th, 1985. So he's
looks
technically
so
older
much
than
older
I
than
am.
that.
So we're still good. I'm not older than Joe Flacco. I don't
He
feel
looks a
that
lot
old
older than
yet.
that.
You know where Josh McCown's from?
Where's he from?
Jacksonville,
Really?
Texas. Jacksonville, Texas.
Oh,
Did you
no.
know there was a Jacksonville, Texas?
I did
Me
not know
neither.
there was a Jacksonville, Texas. Wow. Wow.
McCown played for the Cardinals, the Lions, the Raiders, the Dolphins, Panthers, the Hartford Colonials in 2010, the Niners, the Bears, Bucks, Browns, Jets, Eagles, and Texans.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Last in 2020, and then he's
Who-
he's the QB coach for Carolina.
Josh McCown?
Yeah, so I don't know if he's got a good future of quarterback coaching ahead of him.
That's
with what's
nuts.
going on with Bryce.
So who ends up, or who played for more teams, him or Fitz?
Ooh, so let me count. Are we counting the Hartford Colonials? I don't think we should. It should be NFL teams, right?
Just strictly NFL teams.
And are we counting practice squad or off season?
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, hell with it. Sure, why
Fuck
not?
it. Why not? I mean, he was on a payroll for those teams, right?
Yeah.
So you got Arizona, Detroit, Oakland, Miami, Carolina, San Francisco, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Jets, Eagles, Texans. So that's 12. And
Jesus.
you said Fitzpatrick?
Yeah. I think
got
Fitz has played for damn near every team.
No, he's played for less, man.
Really?
St. Louis Rams,
Yep.
Bengals, Bills, Titans, Texans, Jets, Bucks, Dolphins, Washington football team.
Wow.
So Josh McCown played for more teams.
That's nuts. That is nuts.
Played for the most NFL teams. That's what I want to. Joshua Javon Johnson. Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
Of 14 different NFL teams.
Jesus.
Unfortunately,
He just keeps
for me,
popping up out of nowhere too. I remember
am
he
older
had to.
than Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson's not that old. I remember he had to fill in
86.
as an emergency quarterback. For the Niners last year.
Dude,
in the
he's
playoffs.
he's still playing. He's on the Ravens right now.
Oh, is he really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I remember when he played for the LA Wildcats in the XFL. But
You know who else he played for?
who's that?
He played for the San Diego Fleet.
Oh yeah, in the AAF.
Yep. And then also in 2012, he played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions. It's a fantastic name.
Sacramento Mountain Lions. All right.
Yeah, the United Football League.
The UFL. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, let's jump right into week 13.
History.
We got some.
I love history. Sports history
Yeah,
is
it
so
is.
fun.
It really is. It
Deep
really
dives.
is. Let's jump into some week 13 matchups. Looks like we still got a lot of pretty good games on the slate. Some others are kind of stinkers. But without any further ado, let's just jump right into this.
Hold on real quick. I'll tell you this
Yep.
right now.
What's
Because
up?
we're live, and so is the
Yep.
Pac-12 championship. It's currently Washington 20, Oregon 17. And right now, the win odds have flipped to Oregon to win the game.
Really? Yeah, because they
3 minutes
did.
left in the third.
They were up. I know Bethany and I went out to eat. There's a little brew pub place that we really like, and they had the Pac-12 championship on.
Nice.
And Washington was up 10-0. But
Yeah,
and
I've got it on the gigantic new screen next to me.
Yeah.
Not on.
Part of me wants to root for Washington just because, I have connections there. I
Right.
was stationed up there for 6 years, but at the same time, I kind of don't because what little shot Florida
your
State
wife
still
will
has.
murder you, and Florida State still has a game to play.
We do. We play Louisville.
Who is surprisingly in Kentucky.
Yeah. Now, before the show, Ryan and I were talking, and I wasn't even paying attention to what I was saying, but I said, oh, yeah, we play Kentucky tomorrow for the ACC championship. And, of course, my wife, comes busting in the room
Just
and
fucking kicks the door down. No, we're not.
throws 12 different kitchen knives directly at my head.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the Matrix,
Yeah.
man. You're dodging those things.
Yeah. But no, we play Louisville tomorrow.
Louisville.
Our backup
Cool town,
quarterback.
by the way. If you ever have the opportunity to visit,
Louisville?
it's fucking cool. It's a cool town. If you're I'm
Very
a
nice.
baseball guy,
Sure.
So.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. Louisville Slugger.
Louisville.
No, yeah, that game's going to be kind of nerve-wracking. Our backup quarterback who was our starter against Florida, Tate Rodemaker, he, last I checked, is a game time decision.
Yep.
And she just texted me and said, "Don't mess it up again."
She heard you. Your
Yep.
voice carries. I have a buddy
It
named
does.
Ian, and he's got one of those deep voices. And we used to have a podcast network here in town, and so he would come on and we would do video game podcasts, and he was on my sports podcast, and we never had to mic him. We would never mic him. We would just set him next to somebody with a mic, and his would come through, and sometimes our producer would actually have to turn him down.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Dude, some
I have a
people
cool
got those
voice, but I don't
voices.
have that cool of a voice.
Your voice is
My
pretty
voice is-
cool, man. I'm 38 and I
It's
sound
cool.
like I'm 15.
And you look like a fucking Yeti.
I do.
I had to get that in there. I'm sorry you alley-ooped
It's
it.
fine. It's right there. It's gonna get worse. I'm gonna get more and more Yeti-like in the years to come as my hair
Yeah.
continues to turn gray.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
starting to grow it back out. So I'm
Okay.
going back for the long hair, and I'm never gonna cut it again because I'm gonna let it all go gray, and I'm just gonna be a wizard. That's like I'll be a sports wizard at that point.
And Shannon said that Rick is no stranger to getting turned down either.
Listen, I'm married as well. I get it.
Lord.
So who's the backup then to your backup? Because Jordan Travis is done, right? He's injured.
Yeah, no, he's out for the year. His college career is done.
Over.
'Cause he-
You think he's going pro? You think
Yeah,
he's
I
got
think-
a shot?
I think he does. Yeah, obviously this like tanks the hell out of his draft stock.
I don't know if it really tanked it as much because he's not high on a lot of lists. Like I'm looking.
I
at
mean, he was a
I
Heisman
usually-
finalist.
That's true. Yeah, I usually I feel like WalterFootball.com usually has their mock drafts are always trash, but they have a really good finger on the pulse of like rankings for players, and they've got him ranked the 20th quarterback coming out of this class. But I thought he looked good. I thought he was really athletic. I don't think he's like a starter right off the bat, but I don't know.
No, I think Jordan Travis he'll be good. I think he's going to be one of those quarterbacks like you said. He's not going to be a starter right out the gate, but he's got an arm. He's mobile. I think put him in the right situation where he gets to sit and learn for a year, and eventually take over as a starter. I think he'll be just fine. Hell, Seattle would be perfect in that regard. If we do end up keeping Geno, I would love to have Jordan Travis take the reins of the Seahawks.
You know what? I have the greatest idea ever.
What's
Ready
that?
for it?
What's that?
Denver Broncos should draft him. And then they turn him into the Denver version of Taysom Hill.
Who? Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
Uh,
Turn him into Taysom Hill, 2.0. And now you've
But
got
he's
Sean
not-
Payton out there with his new Taysom, Jordan Travis.
yeah. I just don't know that he can block like Taysom Hill can.
Oh, no, yeah, probably not.
But anyhow,
He's
to
a
answer
smaller
your
guy,
question,
isn't he?
Yeah, he's not a large fellow for sure. He is. Let's take a look here. He
6'1",
is
212.
yeah, 212. So
He's
anyhow, to
got
answer your
something.
question, our backup, if Tate Rodemaker can't play, it would be our next up is a freshman Brock Glenn.
Oof. A freshman
Yeah.
starting your championship game.
Yep. Out of, I'm sure I'm butchering this, but Lusan Collegiate.
What state?
What-
I'm
I'm
going to assume Florida.
Nope, Covington, Tennessee.
Oh, it was a Tennessee boy. All right.
Yep.
Just to give you a little heads up here, though. So Jordan Travis, 6'1", 212. Taysom Hill, 6'2", 221. So they're not too far off,
They're not terribly far off.
I want more Taysom Hills in the league, god damn it.
Taysom Hill is a lot of fun to watch. You
Dude,
need more of those Swiss
he's-
Army knife type guys.
It's so good because he's got tight end eligibility.
Yeah.
He's technically he is considered. I can put him in as a quarterback or a tight end, but he still like throws the ball. So now I'm in a 2 QB league with a tight end spot. Start 2 QBs and Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty great.
worked. I'm 11-1.
Yeah.
So
Well, good deal, man. All right, let's jump into week 13 of the NFL. Got some pretty decent matchups on slate here.
Yeah, we really
Kick
do.
things off. Obviously, we had the Cowboys over the Seahawks, unfortunately. But up next, we got Titans versus the Colts. Who do you got?
What site are you pulling these up off of, by the way? I
Just
just want to follow
Google.
along with you.
Google.
You said Titans, Colts.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick the Colts. Jonathan Taylor's out, but Zach Moss looked great, before he came back. So
Yeah, and Zach Moss, I think he ran for over 100 yards on the Titans, and I know everybody's kind of their bread and butter is their run defense. They're kind of more of a pass funnel team. But Zach Moss, I think before Jonathan Taylor came back, he ran all over the Titans. So I'm taking the Colts as well. I don't trust Will Levis whatsoever, or that offense really for Tennessee. I think the Colts take this one.
if you want to play devil's advocate in this game, and if for the Titans to have a shot, because the spread right now is just Indy -1. So it's not like a for sure thing. It should be a good game, and I'm excited because the Bears are on a bye, so I can actually just watch football and not care.
Yeah.
But so the Colts' run defense has been real bad lately, and they just released Shaq Leonard,
Yeah, Shaq Leonard. Right. Yep, they sure did.
Which I'm sure doesn't help.
No.
And so Derrick Henry in 15 career games against Indy has 1,330 yards, which is the third most versus the Colts. So I would say for fantasy purposes, if you have one of Derrick Henry or Tyjae Spears, it might be a smart play.
So in one of my leagues, I actually have both of them.
Nice.
And believe it or not, Derrick Henry is my RB3.
Wow. Who's your RB2 and 1?
My RB1 is Christian McCaffrey. My RB2 is Jahmyr Gibbs.
It doesn't matter who your other RBs are if you've got McCaffrey.
I'm a little weaker at wide receiver, but I've got a pretty stacked team. So I've got Justin Herbert as my quarterback, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, A.J. Brown, then T. Higgins. I traded for Travis Kelce.
T. Higgins should be good.
Yeah. And then I've got Derrick Henry, the Jags defense, who I think they'll smash tomorrow or Monday night, against Cincinnati and Jake Browning. And then I got the Colts kicker. So
who is their K? Is it still Matt Gay?
Matt Gay, yep. So he's actually been pretty decent for fantasy.
Yeah, no, that's the bad thing about. So I'm in a couple of leagues where we've actually just dropped kickers altogether, and because they can really sink you.
Mm-hmm.
I do think fantasy-wise, though, there should be an all-kicker league. It is football.
That would be hilarious.
Football.
That would be hilarious.
Kickers
we should
and
try
linemen.
that.
Just kickers and linemen. That's what we want. Pancakes are worth 100.
I still think that the idea that we had for kind of that reverse fantasy league where the objective is to just draft the shittiest team possible. You get penalized like whenever they gain yards or score, but like gain points whenever they throw an interception or get sacked or fumble the ball.
They have to actually have played.
They have to actually play.
I was just thinking about that. They have to have seen the field for a not insubstantial amount of playing time.
Well, I think the way we do it.
If you would start a guy, here's my idea. If you start a guy and he doesn't see the field at all, he automatically gets like 40
negative
points.
50. Yeah.
No, like 40 positive points because you would want, or I guess it would be negative, right?
So my idea behind it,
like you would get points for him doing that, and that would count against what you're wanting to do.
Right. So my idea behind it is we all make a gentleman's agreement to like start like active starting players, but just the shittiest ones possible.
Yeah. So like almost all of the Bears wide receivers
Yeah.
You'd be
Tim Boyle.
killing it if you were starting Velus Jones Jr. Absolutely killing it. He'd be the number 1 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. All right. So you're taking the Colts on this one?
I think so. I don't feel secure in that, but
I don't either. I think they're playing in. Where are they playing? They're playing in Tennessee. I'll still take the Colts.
yeah, I was going to say they've got the Big Ten championship out there tomorrow. So
And then probably one of the games I'm looking least forward to, the Atlanta Falcons going up to New York or New Jersey to take on the New York Jets. Who you got in that one?
Desmond Ritter versus Tim Boyle.
Barf.
I'm going to take the Falcons just off the running game. I know the Jets, they have a good defense. That's why they've got 4 wins. But
That is the one area that they seem like they're slightly susceptible to.
is running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As good as New York is against the pass, they are ranked 31st for rushing.
Yeah.
And so you've got 3 backs
Bijan.
and Bijan, Tyler Algier, and Cordarrelle. So
You know, I think for this specific game only, Tyler Algier might be a sneaky fantasy play. Only
he's been
because
sneaky
I
in
think
quite
that,
a few games this year. Because Art
For
Smith
sure.
he was abducted by aliens and replaced with a lookalike that doesn't know how to do football apparently.
yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
He
my
just
thing
hasn't
is, I
been
think that
using
they're
Bijan.
going to absolutely boat race the New York Jets. So I think that Tyler Algier could get a lot of garbage time fantasy points. But all right. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on
Yeah,
that one. Moving on to the next
that's
one.
enough of that game.
Yeah. Up next, we have the New Orleans Saints hosting the Detroit Lions, both coming off of pretty disappointing defeats.
That's true.
Obviously, with the Lions losing on Thanksgiving against the Packers, and then the New Orleans Saints, a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Lot of injuries.
Their top 3 wide receivers are all down.
Is Olave been officially ruled out?
Not yet, but he's still in protocol. So I haven't. Today would have been the day they said something. So let me look.
So it says, let's see
Questionable.
here. He did have a full practice on Friday, today though.
Oh, if he did, then okay. So if Olave's in, then that makes me feel a little bit better. But
But he still has not cleared the evaluation with the independent neurologist. But he did practice in full today.
that's good then. Here's your wide receivers. If Olave, Shaheed, and Thomas is out, Shaheed's already been ruled out. But if Olave doesn't play, you've got A.T. Perry, a rookie. I think he's a fantastic rookie. He hasn't been getting the ball his way, but Marquez Callaway, Lynn Bowden Jr., Keith Kirkwood, John Trey Kirkland. Who are these people? These are the people you want for your league, for the Bizarro League.
Yeah, for the bizarre. I think that's what we should call it. The
should be the
Bizarro
Bizarro
Fantasy
League.
Football League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get together over the summer and figure this out, but it's gonna have to be like done old school, like, because I don't think Sleeper definitely doesn't have anything for that. I don't think any other football league thing. So we're gonna have to do it all on like Google Sheets or something.
I think ESPN will let you, because they let you manually type in like plus or minus on there. So I'll play around with ESPN, but I think ESPN, we could do it.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, no, I still don't give the Saints a very much of a chance. Although I don't know, the Lions haven't been playing that great lately either.
The Lions are still, they're a far superior team. They did almost get beat by the Bears. People don't realize that, but the Bears pretty much won that game until they lost.
Until they lost.
And
And
then the Packers, like, pooped all over them.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Lions for this one. I think that both David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs have a big game. Especially if Chris Olave does not pass the evaluation with the neurologist and he ends up being out, the Lions are going to boat race the Saints.
I think that if he's practiced in full today, he'll probably play though.
He probably will.
Because I think he has to be clear. He has to be cleared by a team physician to do that, and they're usually they're incentivized to be stricter. Because if they just let him go through and actually practice, and he's still not technically cleared, they could get real big fines.
Right. So, either way, I think that maybe Juwan Johnson, tight end for the Saints, might be a sneaky play here. Just with no other receivers in town. Although I think the majority of it's going to be Alvin Kamara, and if Chris Olave ends up being healthy, it's going to be those two, obviously. But Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, both fantastic plays. I think that this is not going to be a very competitive game at all.
Oh, God. Yeah, no. There's not very good Sunday early games. There's not too much out there that I'm excited about. Except for
this next game we're about to talk about. I think I know exactly what it is. This one is the Denver Broncos going up against the Houston Texans.
That's the one that I'm going to have on my main screen.
Which feels insane to say that we're excited about that game.
What feels insane is the 6-5 Broncos versus the 6-5 Houston Texans.
Which for different reasons feel nuts.
Well, it's both. I mean, really, it comes down to the quarterback for both.
Right.
You know what I mean? People didn't give Stroud a chance. I didn't. And he's the fifth. He's got the fifth best QBR from week 9 to 12.
Yeah.
When he started really turning it on. And then,
Russell
Wilson, we all have seen him the last couple of years. He's turned it around. He looks great.
Yeah, he's cooking again.
Yeah. You get those guys another high-end wide receiver, and the Chiefs should be a little worried.
Yeah, no, I agree. And they absolutely dog walked the Chiefs already once this season.
Mm-hmm.
They handled the Bills. This is, I think, probably. I'm not sure what the rest of Sunday looks like. I think that this is probably the most exciting game on the remainder of the slate. To be honest with you.
Let me look through it real quick. You mean you're not excited by the 2-10 Cardinals at the somehow 7-4 Steelers?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, there's not really anything except for the.
Well, no, yeah,
Eagles. I was going to say the Eagles Niners.
Yeah. To a lesser degree, maybe the Chiefs and Packers.
I'm excited to watch Bengals Jags. Jags have kind of been my spiritual team this year.
They're your side piece.
Yeah.
We share a side piece together.
I know, it's cool. We're tunnel buddies.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. No, so obviously we're taking the Lions on the last game, the Lions.
Yep.
Broncos Texans though, who you got on this one?
Oh man. So they're
in
playing
Houston.
at Houston. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I think I'm going to pick the Texans, but this is one that I'm not super secure in because the Broncos from week 9 to 12 have also held opposing quarterbacks to the fourth lowest QBR. So, I think the Texans win this one, but I would not be surprised if the Broncos did. CJ Stroud
tough.
is not Patrick Mahomes.
No, but he's damn good.
And yeah, I know, but I'm saying the Broncos have recently beat Patrick Mahomes.
True. But I also think in that same light, however, CJ Stroud has far superior weapons than what Patrick Mahomes has outside of Travis Kelce.
I would agree.
He has so many weapons, especially if Noah Brown comes back. That there's another.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure how Tank Dell's health is looking right now. I know he had some health issues, kind of a health scare there. I think if I remember reading correctly.
Yeah, he was banged up. Noah Brown is currently listed as questionable. He missed practice on Friday, so he's probably out. Tank Dell is listed as questionable, but I think he did practice. It didn't say he missed practice, so Dalton Schultz, the tight end, is out.
Oh shit!
Yep.
I did not know that.
So.
Yep, I've got to pick me up a tight end in our league then.
Same, not in our league, but in a different one. So now you've got Brevin Jordan as your tight end one.
Gross.
Unless they shock the world and they say, "Hey, fuck you, Eagles, bring me Zach Ertz."
Yeah, that's true.
Recently released Zach.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that for them.
But I mean, for everything's pointing to him going back to the Eagles.
Oh, really?
He's already scheduled a meeting with them.
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess it makes sense. The Dallas Goddard health still kind of up in the air.
Mm-hmm. You want to go?
Dalton Schultz out. Noah Brown out. Tank Dell questionable. I'm going to take the Broncos. But I wouldn't be surprised just because
again
the Texans, CJ Stroud has looked excellent.
It's really a good game, and it does feel like a coin toss game.
It really does, which
like
is it feels nuts saying that.
Can win this game, and I like that.
It's so weird because you have so many different paradoxes here because the Broncos have, up until this point in the Russell Wilson era, up until just a few weeks ago, been absolutely horrendous. And the Texans, for the past few years after the Deshaun Watson era, have looked horrendous. But this year with CJ Stroud, they've looked phenomenal. They actually, to me, they feel better than, like, I don't look at them in the light of a 6-5 team. Like,
yeah,
it feels like their record should be higher than that.
No,
with how awesome their offense is played.
I'm kind of shaky on my Texans pick. I kind of want to join you over in Denver right now.
Yeah, Denver.
Just reading more, like, if you don't have those guys, Dalton Schultz especially is a big miss.
Yeah, no, he's been a very key cog in that offense. Surprisingly,
he hasn't been like a world beater, for fantasy, but he's been startable.
He's had a couple of massive games though. Like there was one game, I think it was the game against who the hell was it? Because I have him on my fantasy team.
I was gonna say you can just pop up in his schedule, but while you're doing
so week 9 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 10 catches on 11 targets for 130 yards and a touchdown, and there was another one that he should have caught. He could have easily had another touchdown. I remember watching the end of that game. He should have had like another 30 yards and another touchdown there.
I'm switching. I'm going to be rocking.
Hey, all right.
So right now the spread is Houston -3.5. So technically this is an upset. I feel like when you get over, a field goal difference, that's technically an upset. But so the biggest thing is you're missing now your 3 best pass catchers, right?
Yeah.
And the Broncos have 22 takeaways on the season, which leads the league.
Wow.
And you do have CJ Stroud has been very good, but he is also still a rookie.
He is.
So,
and for him, the Broncos just a few weeks ago embarrassed Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Like they didn't just kind of beat the Chiefs, like they embarrassed the Chiefs.
That was in Denver, right?
That's a good. Let's take a look. Let me look. So, yep, that was in Denver, 24-9. And then they went to Buffalo and got a win over Buffalo.
That's what I was, kind of saying, Shannon, is like if they're going to win, Denver will win if they can trick CJ Stroud into getting 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to throw, Jared Goff like 4 interceptions. or no, not Jared. Sorry, Josh Dobbs. Like, I'm excited. My Bears won. We haven't talked about that. My Bears won on Monday night. They beat the Minnesota Vikings. It's the first time they've won against the division in 3 years. It's fucking stupid. But CJ, all he has to do is throw like 1 or 2 picks, and I feel like Denver can hold on.
Yeah.
But again, that's going to be a really fun game to watch.
And it's like you said, the Broncos, they are slowly creeping up in that division right now. They're number 2 in the division. They're only 2 games behind the Chiefs, so the Chiefs they've looked a lot more human than perhaps they ever have with Patrick Mahomes behind center.
So they lost in Kansas City 19-8, and then 2 weeks later, they won that game 24-9 in Denver.
Yep. All right, so we're both picking the Broncos. Moving on, this one, I'm not excited about this one either. The 4-7 Los Angeles Chargers travel to Foxborough, Massachusetts to take on the New England Patriots at 2-9.
Woof.
Barf.
Dude, all right. We have to talk about the Patriots. This is it's a Bill Belichick team. They got flexed from a primetime game.
Oof.
They got flexed from a Monday night game.
Yep. The Seattle, was that the Seattle game that we, like us against Philly?
I don't know for sure.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I just something keeps unplugging in my computer. I don't know what it is. It's pissing me off. Let's see. Flexed out on Monday night, week 15. So it's their week 15 game. It's Patriots. The crazy thing is they flex this game out, and it's Patriots Chiefs.
Ooh.
So how bad do you have to be to drag the Chiefs, the marquee team for the league, drag them down? So they went from a Monday night game to a 1 p.m. game on Sunday, and then does it say who it's gonna flex in? Eagles Seahawks. It's week 15.
Yeah, I think
should
last
be a much
week
better game, anyways.
I think it'll be. I think like, especially after watching last night's game, I actually am very excited about that game against the Eagles.
You should be. They look. I mean, they lost, but they looked really good.
Yeah.
It's positive.
I'll tell you what. I think last week may have arguably been the most embarrassing loss in Bill Belichick's career as head coach of the New England Patriots. You have your defense play exquisite and hold the New York Giants, led by Tommy DeVito, to 10 points. And you still, between you and Bill O'Brien, can't orchestrate an offense to overcome that. You had Mac Jones go 12 for 21 for 89 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They bring Bailey Zappi in, 9 for 14 for 51 yards and another interception. Really,
it was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, really the only player of note that really did anything on offense was Ramondre Stevenson, who went 21 for 98 and a touchdown. Yeah, I know.
That was the dumbest trade. I was just trading to trade, man.
Yeah.
Oh well, it is what it is.
And it's such as fantasy.
Such as.
But no, I think that may be. I mean, you've got the Giants' third string quarterback against who some people argue to be the greatest NFL head coach of all time.
This season has got to chip that away, right?
Oh, 1,000%.
Like he has won a ton, but like I think the last couple of years have really just shown that it was Brady. Brady is what elevated that team.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because didn't he bring the original Cleveland Browns to the playoffs?
Yeah, he still lost though.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyway, so I'm picking the Chargers, but I'm probably not going to tune into this game at all.
No, God no. I don't. This might be a game that you don't even see on Red Zone.
No. Yeah, it's going to be gross. The Chargers, what a huge disappointment they've been as well.
Oh yeah, this is
But-
one of the coaching change teams at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, no, Staley's out of there for sure.
Yep.
Moving right along, we can probably, well, I don't know, Cardinals, Steelers. Any interest there?
I mean, no, but yes.
No.
I need the Cardinals to win.
I
I just want them to win one more game so that they are incentivized to trade up with more to the Bears for them to pick their new quarterback.
You don't think they stick with Kyler?
Actually, no, they do. I think they have to stick with Kyler.
No.
His contract is insane.
Yeah. I'll take the Steelers here, but
yeah, I'm gonna go
no interest in watching.
Steelers. No
Yep.
interest. You know, it is funny though. The first game after firing Matt Canada, who people have been yelling to fire for a long time now, 400 yards. 400 yards in a game.
And Pat Frymuth had an absolute field day.
Dude, he's so good.
He's very good. He is
I don't think
very,
that was
very,
his first
very
game
good.
back too in a while, I think, because he was injured
Yeah.
for a bit.
No, he played the week before. I think he
Did
only
he?
caught he
Okay.
only got like 3 or 4 targets or something like that. But you know,
Yeah, it's Steelers are -5.5, so everybody thinks the Steelers are going to win. That being said, though, one of these guys I'm looking at actually has picked the Cardinals over the Steelers. 23-19.
Bryce Ridley says, fellas, I lost Hawkinson and Schultz. Pitts, Otten, or Logan Thomas to get the start for a full PPR league. Ooh. I'm gonna go Kate Otten for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, simply just because I think last week he ended up playing, if I remember correctly, 100% of the offensive snaps. So his ceiling is not going to be crazy high, but I think of the three of those, his floor is easily the safest out of those three. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, his floor is what gets it for me. Like, Pitts is the superior player, but he is so uninvolved in that team. Also, the Jets have a good defense. You know what I mean? And he still has Desmond Ridder throwing him the ball. Cade Otton at least is going against the Panthers. And who's it, Logan Thomas? If he starts,
Logan Thomas, yep.
You know, he's going against Miami, who's fairly soft against the tight ends. For what it's worth, the ranking site that I use, that I'm a member of, for this week in PPR has it Logan Thomas as the number 10 ranked, Cade Otton as 12, and Kyle Pitts at 13.
Yep.
So I would say probably Thomas or Otton is your best bet.
The argument that I can make for Logan Thomas is they're playing against the Miami Dolphins. The passing attack for the Washington Commanders hasn't been terrible. Sam Howell has been better than expected in some ways. And so I think
Been just about as expected. I feel.
maybe I'm thinking just purely fantasy.
Right.
But I think that he's been decent enough, and they're probably going to get into a shootout with the Miami Dolphins. So you could, get a spike play or two out of Logan Thomas, but I think his floor is decidedly lower than Cade Otton. He has easily probably the lowest ceiling out of the three. Well, no, that's not true. I think, excuse me. Well, the lowest floor out of the three is easily Pitts. I think that Otten's
Wild
probably the
still.
safest pick. Depending, I'm not sure what the rest of your roster looks like, but if you're looking to just go full Hail Mary, throw all caution to the wind, go Logan Thomas. If you're just looking for a safe option, go Kate Otten.
That's it. That's right there. Took the words out of my mouth.
Yep.
Also,
If anybody else has any fantasy questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section.
yeah. Who
All
else
right,
is
moving
available
on.
Out of those three, I'm wondering. Outside of those guys, is there, somebody have
Yeah,
Trey
Bryce.
McBride?
Oh, yeah, if you have Trey, well, but isn't he hurt?
I mean, he's questionable, but I think he's starting. I think he practiced today.
Okay. I've got him in yeah, he's still questionable. There's a league that I'm the number 1 seed in.
He was
And
limited
it
on
says-
Friday.
Oh, with a groin injury.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got rid of Zach Ertz, too.
Yeah. 8-4
Oof.
made playoffs, but trying to stay as the 3rd seed. Nice. How
Okay.
many? 12 team? I hope it's 12 team.
Also, what's
or
the
more.
rest of your roster looking like, Bryce? Anyhow, moving on. Up next, we have we started to talk about this game a little bit, the Miami Dolphins versus the Washington Commanders.
The Washington Commanders.
The Washington Brave Redskin
Communists.
football team Commanders.
The commies.
Yeah.
Man, you got to go Dolphins.
Yeah. Easily. I don't think we need to
their
spend a ton of time on that.
Their defense is definitely worse. They just lost. Who's it? They lost Jalen Ramsey, right?
Oh, did they really?
Or no? Who did they lose?
Hmm.
No, they didn't lose Jalen Ramsey. They lost Jalen Phillips. Sorry,
Okay.
the other Jalen.
Yeah.
Too many Jalens on that team. But yeah, I mean Dolphins all the way on this one. I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
Neither does
think-
Vegas.
Yeah.
The spread is -9.5 Miami. So
Another game I don't feel like will be very close at all. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers at a impressive 1-10.
I love it. Thank you, Carolina. Thank you.
The Bucks only have 4 wins on this season, 4-7. I don't know why I thought they were like
They've lost
5-6 or 6-5.
They lost. What was it 6 of the last 7 games?
All right, so Bryce says his roster is as such. He's got Mahomes, Dak, Aaron Rodgers.
QB, I like it.
Is this a 2 QB league, Bryce? So he's got Mahomes, Dak, Aaron Rodgers, Brian Robinson,
Aaron
Monty.
Jones,
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Who did I say?
Rodgers.
Oh, no, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, and Christian Kirk.
That's a good team.
That is a decent team. I'm curious, what is the format, as far as like how many starters from each position? What's that looking like?
And if you're starting 2 running backs, you're starting Brian Robinson and Monty this week, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Williams is out and Aaron Jones is out.
And Kenneth Walker, they played last night, but he was out. So
Kenny.
if this is a 2 wide
Walker's
receiver league, I'm going. Who are you starting if it's just a 2 wide receivers? Don't worry about the flex for now. Well, I guess we can do that.
If it's just 2 wide receivers, I'm probably going Ayuk and Thielen, to be very honest with you, because Devontae hasn't really
Yeah.
done it. Are the Raiders playing this week? I thought they were who's on a bye?
Yeah, the Raiders
Buffalo,
aren't a bye,
yeah,
so he's not.
Raiders aren't a bye, so Buffalo, Chicago, Raiders, mini. 1 QB,
Okay.
2 running back, 2 wide receiver, and flex. And then obviously a tight end.
So he's actually got a. Did you? I'm a.
Did you
Who
start
did
Dak?
you? Did you start Dak or are you starting Mahomes this week? Either way, I think you're pretty well set up for success. I'm going. Obviously, he's got to start Brian Robinson and David Montgomery.
Yeah,
Wide receivers, you're going Brandon Ayuk, and I kind of want to say, oh no, man, for your wide receiver too, you're not starting Amari Cooper probably the rest of the season. He started Dak.
Oh,
Okay.
you don't think the Flack man?
No. Deontay Johnson in years past has been kind of a PPR monster, but not so much as of late.
Well, they are playing the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's true.
He is back. They did just get over 400 yards.
I'm actually probably going to go for my wide receivers. Well, I think you could probably flex Thielen. I would say my probably my wide receiver 1 and 2 is Ayuk and Christian Kirk. And then for flex, he's toss up
funny
between.
You said that because Thielen is 17, Christian Kirk is 18 on here. Ayuk is 9, obviously. But do you know who the number 1 wide receiver is this week?
Who's that? Tyreek Hill?
Yep. Because he's the number 1 wide receiver in the league.
So
funny how that works.
He's trying to figure out a flex here between Thielen and Deontay. So I'm assuming that means he's starting Ayuk and Kirk. For my flex, who are the Steelers playing again? They're playing, the Cardinals, yeah.
So between the two, it's Adam Thielen's ranked 17th PPR for this week, and Deontay is ranked 22nd. A B plus matchup for Deontay, and then an A matchup for Thielen. But the projected points on here for PPR is it's 0.5 difference between the two, 13.6 to 13.1.
In a situation like this, like where you have everything's kind of neck and neck, I tend to default to talent. I think at this point in their respective careers, I think Deontay Johnson is a more talented wide receiver. I think that he has a good matchup. It feels gross to say, but I probably trust Kenny Pickett in this Matt Canada-less offense more than I trust Bryce Young. So I would probably, in this situation, I'd probably go Ayuk. I'd go Deontay.
For this, really?
Mm-hmm.
So Deontay last week had 8 targets. I'm looking up what Thielen had. I thought his career was over before he went to Carolina.
And he blew up.
It's crazy.
PPR monster.
So, week 8, 10, and 11, he had 11, 10, and 11. Week 9, he had 6 targets. Last week, he only had 3 targets against the Titans. So, Thielen gets more targets than Deontay right now.
But I think Deontay right now,
this week, you think he's a better play against Arizona versus Thielen versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and I think Deontay's a more talented receiver than Thielen.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So I default to they both have soft matchups. They both could soak up a lot of targets. I'm going with the more talented player.
Solid choice.
Yep. All right, moving right along. Probably
we both picked the Steelers, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then we went to Dolphins and we picked the Dolphins over the Commanders.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we never picked Bucks over Panthers, right? We're both pretty locked up on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks.
So this one should be a little bit more interesting. The Niners versus the Eagles. San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles
a good game.
in Philly.
The battery throwing capital of the world.
What you think about this matchup?
Gosh. going Eagles. I think the Eagles are the better team. And I'm only going Eagles because they are so good against the rush.
Yeah, they are very good against the rush. It's tough because I mean, on paper, the Niners are just, you would think it was like a Madden type team where you're just trading for all the good players. You create a team and like force trade all the good players to the San
Right.
Francisco 49ers.
It's what everybody does
But
when they get mad.
yeah, it's tough. I want the Eagles to win, obviously. One, just to piss off Cowboys fans, and two, because the Niners are in my division.
Yeah. You guys need more losses from them to, keep neck and neck.
Yeah, and we need the Rams to lose this week. Although I don't think they will against the Browns, but it's I really wouldn't be surprised either way. I'm gonna go Niners here.
Are you?
Yeah,
That's the Vegas. The spread is -3 to San Francisco.
I'm gonna go Niners, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won.
I really like the Eagles right now. They're 10-1, the best team in football.
No,
This is the preview to the NFC Championship.
I agree.
Or
I agree
should
100%.
Should be.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I know the Cowboys have a lot of clout right now, but this is the game of the week for sure.
I know we both are interested in the Broncos and Texans game.
100%.
Because that's going to be should be a good fun
This
game. This is the game of the week.
To me, this is the main event. The Broncos Texans is the co-main event.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Niners. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won. The Niners have weapons literally everywhere. Two phenomenal wide receivers. George Kittle's liable for a big play or two here or there.
That
Christian McCaffrey can
a
catch
lot better as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, with Chase Young on one side and Nick Bosa on the other. You still got Fred Warner.
Should be illegal.
Yeah. It should be illegal.
That defensive line over there. The Eagles have a fantastic line too, but the defensive line in San Francisco. Remember, like 4 or 5 years ago, that offensive line that the offensive line that the Cowboys had.
Mm-hmm.
This is like that version of just like a superstar across the board at every position. It's crazy.
Yep. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa,
crazy.
I literally just said his name. Chase Young, just cartoonishly stacked across the board. It's just ridiculous.
It's going to be a very good game.
It's going to be a good game.
One game to watch this weekend. If you have time for one game, this is the game to watch.
This is the game, 100%. 100%.
But
okay.
We do know what Keith will be watching.
He's going to be watching the Chiefs.
Well, I guess that's the Sunday night game.
Sunday night game.
All right, so one last.
Yeah, there's one more Sunday afternoon game. The Rams and Browns. Pretty sure we're both picking the Rams there. Don't have to spend a ton of time talking about that. They're calling 80% chance of rain, and the Eagles seem to do better in sloppy weather. That could actually low-key be an advantage for them. I mean, you have a California team in the San Francisco 49ers. Weather conditions, and I'm not sure what the temperature is going to be like there, but if it's at least a little bit chilly there.
It's cold right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're about the same like longitude or latitude, whatever one, I don't know, that I am here in Springfield.
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. That could be an advantage for the Eagles for sure. All right, let's go. We're both taking the Rams over the Browns. Not going to spend too much time talking about that. What about the Chiefs versus the Packers?
Chiefs all the way.
Chiefs. Okay.
The Packers got lucky last week beating the Lions. They looked at what the Bears did, and they're like, okay, we're going to do that, but we have a competent coach that knows how to win a game,
Right.
unlike the Bears.
Right.
So I'm picking the Chiefs, though. I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't give the Packers a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs should win this one pretty handily as well.
Yep.
Then our final game of the Week 13 slate in the NFL regular season is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Jake Browning-led Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm picking
like
the
we don't have to-
Jags.
Yep.
That's should go without saying. Jamar Chase only needs 86 receiving yards for 1,000 yards this season. He'd be the 8th player in NFL history and 2nd Bengals player with 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 3 seasons.
That's crazy.
Do you know who the other Bengals player was?
Ocho Cinco?
Nope. Surprising, right? AJ Green.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah,
but
that
once you
makes
hear
sense.
AJ Green, that's not that surprising because he was so fucking good for so long.
He was amazing. That was my dude in fantasy for a long time. Yep. Okay. Well, that just about wraps it up for the NFL. Before we head out of here tonight, I did want to, excuse me, talk just a little bit of XFL. You know, and I've got my, or spring football, USFL, whatever it's going to end up being.
Whatever
We're
they
still
call
waiting
it.
on. We're still waiting on I've seen a lot of rumors on like some of the fan pages, as far as the merger is concerned. Until we hear official word, directly from the horse's mouth, I won't lend too much credence to any unofficial stuff out there from the fan pages. But for now, what we do know is this. One thing that I thought was interesting, and you and I kind of talked about it a little bit before the show, is the St. Louis Battlehawks are still continuing to pick up steam as a fan base. They just opened up the 400 level.
Chug.
Yeah.
They're chugging along, baby.
Yeah. The caws are getting louder, man. The 400 level of the Dome there in St. Louis has just been open for season tickets, not just single game tickets. Tickets. They're selling season tickets at the 400 level. What that tells me is that they're expecting a lot of damn people to show up at these games. Like, if they're already saying like, yep, no, we'll go ahead and offer the opportunity to make a season-long investment, that means that they're projecting and that there's already a demand to fill a hell of a lot of seats in that dome, which is awesome. Just awesome.
It's official now with the who the 8 teams are, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What do we got?
So what I'm reading this on some website. Arlington, DC, San Antonio, and St. Louis from the XFL. So the Sea Dragons, the Poop Standing Up Vipers, the Roughnecks, and the Guardians, they're out.
Oh, wow.
And then on the USFL, the Birmingham Stallions, which is like their jewel team,
Yeah.
Houston Gamblers, which makes sense. Memphis Showboats and Michigan Panthers will be kept on, while the Maulers, Breakers, Philadelphia Stars, and New Jersey Generals will not. And I think that does give them a little more. It's a little more coverage. I guess not really. So
There's no West Coast teams.
Texas, St. Louis. Technically, the Arlington Renegades are the most Western team in that league.
Wow.
They should have kept the Sea Dragons.
Where are you seeing this at?
I'm on Clutch Points, but if you just search on Google the XFL merger, they announced as well the start date is a little later. It's March 30th.
But they are going to operate as one league?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
So the merger was approved yesterday by regulators.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
sure
it's a
enough, you're right.
combined XFL USFL.
They're gonna merge and play as one league, and the season is gonna kick off in March 30th,
Yep.
instead of late February like we were used to.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a shame that they're not gonna have a West Coast team. I thought, there was kind of a down year for the Seattle Sea Dragons, but you think back to 2020, that place was rocking, man.
I mean, yeah, yeah. It's silly that they don't have a West Coast, but you keep it a little tighter. It's a little cheaper to travel.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
No.
certainly helps operating costs.
Did you know? So we know Redbird Capital is the owner of the XFL, right?
They're one of
With
them, yeah.
one of them with Danny Garcia and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Fox Sports owns the USFL.
Really?
Yeah.
I did
So
not know that.
I'm not as turned off now with this merger. I thought that merger spelled bad news. You know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm.
XFL's already merging with the USFL. That's weird. But if you've got, the XFL money with the ties to the NFL, like they've already discussed, but then you've got Fox Sports money backing up the USFL. Hey,
Yeah.
And Fox
And I
does
mean,
do a supreme job of football broadcasts.
they do. They do a phenomenal job. And, I mean, as much as I dislike that there's not going to be a West Coast team, the more I think about it, the more this actually kind of makes sense. The one thing that, I saw a lot of USFL fans parroting a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps a skosh of, truth could be found in what they were saying with regards to the USFL, with their whole, hub market, hub stadium type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about, basically just saving money until the next move could be made. And you saw evidence of that, at least in some fashion, where the first year, every single game was there in Birmingham. Every single game. The next year,
and it made it boring to watch.
it made it very boring.
Because there's nobody in the crowd. It was COVID time as well, but there's nobody there. It was weird to watch a football game like that.
Right. But the next year, to their credit, they opened up a few more stadiums. Memphis had really good attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit, the Michigan Panthers didn't have terrible attendance. But now, okay, cool. They saved a little bit of money. They made whatever profit they could get with nobody in the stands,
Mm-hmm.
and it just being a purely TV product. And so they're making those moves. So I guess in a way where you kind of have everything condensed between the Midwest and the East Coast, I could see that being a chess move, just to, cool, let's combine powers, create a more streamlined revenue stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're only having to worry about traveling just in this one half of the country rather than having to go from coast to coast every single week.
Right.
Then if this works, then we look at adding some West Coast teams,
Yeah.
either the next year or the year after that, whatever the case may be. And I think that San Diego should be at the top of that list.
Oh, for sure. We've both been saying that for a while.
Yep.
I think San Diego would embrace it like St. Louis has, because I think they were both good football markets.
And they have a stadium that is perfect for a spring football team. That's Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
they did also say that it looks like, so there's no the name and broadcast right deals and player employment terms are still in development, but this Sports Business Journal did say that the XFL CEO Russ Brandon will be the CEO of the merged league, so he stays on.
Wow.
To lead. So, and I thought the XFL did a pretty good job last year. So
they did do a pretty solid job. I'm just trying to take a look at some of the other XFL team Facebook pages like the Sea Dragons. And yeah, like they're one of the few teams I'm not seeing anything about, season tickets or anything like that. There's a shit ton of like, hey, Black Friday sale, everything,
Yeah, now it's a clearance sale.
All right, now it's a clearance sale. That's nuts. That really sucks.
So, B. Pierce, thank you for the comment and the question. We always really actually do appreciate when people come on and chat and ask us stuff. We're a very small show, and it's nice to talk to that. Aaron Jones, should you write him an angry letter or show some grace because of the injuries? So I think that you should actually show him some grace because he has to play in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for
it.
Aaron Jones.
That's a terrible football team. Bad football team. Beautiful stadium, terrible food.
Yeah,
down, baby.
If you haven't figured it out, I think I know who this is too. This is one of the guys from one of my other fantasy leagues. Aaron Jones, has been up until this year a pretty reliable running back. A solid RB2 with a few spike weeks with RB1 upside.
I've got some RB1 games out of him.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he has been as tough as they come to trust on a week-to-week basis just because of his health and whatnot. And I don't know. I'm not really sure how to. I mean, I guess maybe both. Much in the same light of Austin.
That's a very good Midwestern sentiment. Is you do an angry letter, but also hey, I'm sorry you're hurt. Let me squeeze
I think
right
a lot
past
of people.
You.
A lot of people could say the same thing about Austin Eckler. Let's look at how high he got drafted in fantasy drafts. And he has not really helped you out at all this year.
That's true.
If anything, because of how high you drafted him, drafting Austin Eckler probably hurt you this year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's why, my draft strategy has always been, a guy like him or a guy like Saquon who's got big injury concerns. If I've got a high draft pick, if I'm picking 1 through 3, I'm not touching those guys. And I'm always, if I have a pick that high, I'm always going to want to do a running back because that's the most valuable position right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm always scared off of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like Washington is going to hold out. It's 34-31 with 24 seconds left, and Washington has the ball. So.
Wow. Yep. That's pretty much ball game.
Good game.
Good game. Very good game. All right. Well, I think that just about does it for us today. We are at about 1 hour and a half on the dot. Oh, hold up. What's this? Crazy Wow says, who do you think wins this Sunday? You should have been listening earlier. Ryan said the Eagles. I said the Niners.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I hope the Eagles win. I really do.
Yep.
You know what? Before we go, I am just curious. One last thing we can kind of touch on here. Talking about fantasy football.
To do tomorrow.
Me neither. Talking about fantasy football here.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quickly. Who are your fantasy MVPs this season? Outside of the obvious ones, like Tyreek Hill. Who is your fantasy darling this year?
Well, in the no pun league, it's been Rashid Shaheed because I just didn't realize how valuable he was when I drafted him. To be very honest with you. Damn, that's a good question. Let me
so I'm thinking obviously your Puka Nakuas of the world, your Kyron Williams.
Yes.
They've got to be up there.
David Montgomery.
Monty's a good one. Monty's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually scooped him up as a free agent in that league that, I'm fighting for the number 2 seed.
Dude, that's crazy that you were able to get him as a free agent.
Yeah, someone dropped him
That's
while he was on IR out of necessity.
Crazy.
And
Holy cow.
while he was still on IR, nobody noticed him because, you know, in the ESPN app, any players that are out, they're like automatically way at the bottom.
Right.
But I'll scan those like for that exact reason. And I saw Monty on waivers, and yeah, it was awesome. CW says it's unreal how much of a ripoff the AJ Brown trade has turned to be and it cost Titans GM his job. Me as a Titans fan was against the trade, but the minimum they should have gotten was a lot more back.
Dude, that's still probably one of the most mind-boggling trades because you did trade AJ Brown, who was already like a fantastic top 10, top 5 wide receiver on the Titans. You traded him for Treylon Burks when there were other better wide receivers still available.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, I was watching that live and going, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah. No, I think that's right up there with the Texans whenever they traded DeAndre Hopkins away for,
Oh, my God.
I think it was like a 4th rounder and David Johnson.
Oof.
It's right up there. CW also says Rabel was against the trade, and from what I heard, he stormed out after the draft. Stormed out of the draft room. The GM just ignored him.
Oh, yeah, I imagine
man,
so.
I think, you have to believe it. You 1,000% have to believe it. Like Ryan said, on the Titans, AJ Brown was already a phenomenal wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's with, Tannehill throwing him the ball.
And then Crazy Wow says, not to mention the Tennessee Titans also traded Byard to the Eagles as well. Yeah. It's part of what has made that Eagles defense look pretty nice. Look real nice.
2022, right?
Yep.
Draft? Yeah, 2022 NFL draft. I'm going to just see who was, like, picked around.
CW says, at a minimum, you get back 2 first-round picks and 1 quality starter. The Eagles got an elite wide receiver at 25 years old. I 1,000% agree. If you're going to trade an elite player in their prime, you absolutely have to get, at a minimum, multiple first-round picks.
Yeah. Like, it's still just, it is mind-boggling, that trade that they made. So I'm just looking through here. So Treylon, they got him at 18. You got Trevor Penning was available, Trent McDuffie, Quay Walker, Tyler Smith, Tyler Linderbaum. You'd be happy with either of those 2 guys with how shitty your line's been.
Yeah.
Wide receiver wise, Christian Watson was later. So this wasn't a very deep draft now that I'm looking. George Pickens.
Pickens would have been nice.
Yeah. Treylon Burks he had so many questions about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
It's a crazy trade. A lot of bad trades get made in the NFL. We don't understand them.
But see, that's the thing is, like, I always like holding. I try to hold my my thoughts for like a few years on the trades. Like, obviously everybody's got an instant reaction, but like my final reaction is, okay, 2 years after this trade, 3 years after this trade, how does it look for both teams? And obviously right now it looks like dog shit for the Titans.
1,000%.
But then I go back to the Bears trade with Trubisky.
Yeah.
That's not as bad as people think.
Yeah.
Value-wise,
says,
go ahead.
Byard says, CBW says, with Byard, I understand they basically got a 4th-round pick back. For Burks, I feel so bad for him. He has struggled with injuries, concussions, and they could have added Burks to Brown. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. Like, you did not have to trade away AJ Brown to get Treylon Burks. Like, you could have simply just added him to your team. They draft. I forget how high they ended up drafting him.
Who?
The Titans.
What, Traylon?
Yeah.
It was 18.
18 overall?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's nuts.
they got 18 and then a 2023 third for AJ Brown. Which, like, okay, I get, like, he was wanting to hold out for a new contract. You didn't want to give him a contract because you have shit for brains, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. Man. And then, so, with Treylon Burks, you've gotten 5 starts, 10 games played total, 35 receptions, 524 yards, and 1 touchdown.
That's insane.
No fumbles, though. He hasn't had any fumbles. That's
And I'm
good.
sure AJ Brown is up there in Philadelphia just laughing his ass off.
Oh, I mean, in just his year this year. He's got more yards this year than he did.
Than Treylon Burks has in his
Treylon's-
career.
Exactly. He's started and played in more games this year than Treylon Burks has in his whole career.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. Yeah, that one, it may actually be worse than the DeAndre Hopkins, David Johnson trade. Said, I do like the Will Levis draft pick. He's playing well for the pressure that he's under.
No.
Mayonnaise boy.
This man puts mayonnaise in his coffee, and he is afraid of milk. He's afraid of milk, Rick.
He also eats whole bananas, like peel and all.
Really?
Yeah.
Crunchy boy.
Yeah. Old
Ugh.
mayonnaise boy.
You know what? Good for him playing with the Titans. He did look good. Man, I did too. I was hoping that the Vikings picked him because I was at the draft with a bunch of Vikings fans, and I just wanted to be around their sad energy during the draft.
I'm not complaining about Brown because I'm an Eagles fan. Because he is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. But trust me, we struck out on wide receiver draft picks before that trade, getting J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor. Yeah, those were 2 huge swing and misses.
Now, but
Justin Jefferson.
Were those both? Were those Howie picks? Were those before Roseman? Roseman's been there for a while, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know where. I think J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, if I remember right, was he ended up becoming a quote-unquote tight end.
Did he go the Kelvin Benjamin route?
Yeah. That is still
one
by
Popeye's
far
biscuit
and
away
away
from being a lineman.
But you know what? I got to pull it up. I got to pull it up. But,
God, that's
yeah,
like
and then
one of my
Jalen
favorite-
Reagor, I'm not even sure if he's on a team right now. If he is, he's got to
I
be
think he's on the
super far down.
Vikings.
I was going to say the last team I remember him being with was the Vikings, but he hasn't really done much with them that I remember anyway. But, yeah, no, you guys have had some rough draft picks with the Eagles for sure. So
He is
AJ Brown.
currently on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside as a practice squad member for the Falcons.
As a tight end?
Oh, no, wait. No, he's just out there. He's a free agent.
Okay.
Yeah, they released him, so he wasn't even good enough for the practice squad.
Yep.
Yowza.
So let's see this right here. This is by far and away my all-time favorite.
When you look at Kelvin Benjamin, guys, he's 6'5", he's 245 pounds. He's probably a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end. He has trouble getting separation.
Oh, that's so good.
That will always be my all-time favorite.
It's one of
My
the
all-time
best.
favorite quote from him.
Just one of the best quotes.
1,000%.
Hey, Listen. It was fucking maddening to watch. Luke Getzey should be put in a fucking trebuchet, fucking launched into the sun. It's at the solar maximum right now, or we're getting ready to hit the solar maximum. If you're in my neck of the woods, you could have seen, if we didn't have so much fucking rain yesterday, could have seen the aurora borealis this far down. So the solar maximum is maximizing right now, which is just a great time to fire a shitty offensive coordinator into it.
Yeah, I mean, look at that's not what I was looking for. And one of those, I don't know, but you could have had instead of Jalen Rager, I think I do know that's the same draft that Justin Jefferson was in, and they chose Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. Which I'm sure Ryan wishes that you guys had picked Justin Jefferson as well.
Hey, but you know what? You know who in that draft, you know who went number 12 in that
Who's
draft? Henry Ruggs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It was a solid wide receiver draft though. You got Ruggs, Judy, CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Rager went one pick before Justin Jefferson. Oh,
how crazy is that?
Oof. God.
Yikes.
Damn. And then Ayuk was three guys later.
Ayuk is damn good. I think that Ayuk, on any other team, could command a bigger target share.
And then, guess what? Fucking T. Higgins, first pick in the second round. Right after that, Michael Pittman Jr. What a draft for wide receivers. Holy cow.
No shit. CW says, Eagles fans are spoiled right now. You got Brown, Smith, Goddard. I don't know if a better receiving core plus their very good O-line. Yes, Hurts is good, but they have built him a great support system.
Howie has built a fucking team, man. He really has.
I don't know. The only team that could rival it, I think, would be the San Francisco 49ers.
Which is why I'm very excited for this game this weekend.
Yeah. But
so, okay, Crazy, you are an Eagles fan. I think we've determined that, right?
It's CW that's an Eagles fan.
Which one of you guys are the Eagles fans. The flip side of that, with Hurts being a second round quarterback, is that you do not get that fifth. CW is a Titan fan, like our former boy Rob.
Okay.
But no, you don't get that fifth year option if he's a second round quarterback.
Gotcha. Oh, he's not an Eagles fan now. Either way, okay. Yep. Well, we have been going for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Thank you all for tuning into the show. I think it's about time we wrap this thing up and bring it home for the evening.
Go pee, so, yeah, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, Ryan has to go pee. But if you like the show, do us a favor, hit that bell there at the bottom of your screen so that you get all the notifications anytime we go live. We are live every Friday night at 9:15 p.m. Central Time. That is 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right.
Every Friday night. And I know we've all got crazy lives here. We try to upload additional content when we can, but at a minimum, you can expect to see us on here at least once a week with the other guys. Blake will be back. Keith will be back. Danny at some point will be back, and we'll just have the whole crew here. Good to chat with you guys as well. You'll see my brother in the comment section every now and then. But yeah, anything else before we call it a night, Ryan?
I'm just I'm ready to actually watch football this weekend and not care as much. Bears being on the bye this late in the season. And then I got those hopes. I got those hopes that the rumblings I'm hearing are true of some baseball movement. Because we got winter meetings coming up in a couple of weeks. And we're going to have a whole lot of baseball to talk about.
My team has been making some shit moves.
You guys have a retirement community in your pitching staff. I'm surprised they're not getting Wainwright back.
Yeah, fuck it, bring him back. He gets all his old buddies from his bullpen.
Is Jamie
So
Moyer
what-
still out there?
Yeah, like, well, Wayno's gone now, but what about the rest of the guys that were in his bullpen in his heyday? What if we bring them back? Maybe this will work.
Isringhausen. He's there, right?
Yeah,
He's not 50.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of speculation about some potential trades happening this weekend. You've got Otani. He might be making a decision around the winter meetings. And then you've got all the big name Japanese guys coming. The big guy. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. It's long Japanese. Iwamoto, is that his name? Ishimori.
For sure.
I'm very much hoping that the Bears reach out on him. Or not the Bears,
Yep.
sorry, the Cubs. Sorry, I'm reading Yoshinibu Yamamoto. Cubs are among the favorites. I need some good news. Chicago
I hope you
sports
guys
have
get-
been bad. bad.
And I hope that they continue to be bad.
Yeah,
But we will continue to disagree on that. All right, guys, be a friend, tell a friend, share, like, subscribe, all that good jazz, and we will see you next Friday. Take it easy, guys.
Night.